Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to my Facebook Live. Thank you for joining me. I'll give people a minute to hop on. I'm super excited to show you some new cards tonight. I think we're going to have fun. Nothing really new here. I can tell you it's still hot in Texas. It's 100. It was 102 in my car on the way home, so it probably got a little bit hotter. It usually gets the hottest around maybe 5 o'clock or so, but hot. Not complaining, just saying it's hot. But we're getting close to midweek, so that's exciting. Hope everybody's doing well. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I see some people hopping on. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I like to start with every week, well, let me do my introduction first. My name is Laura Roderick. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. I go live every Tuesday night around 7 p.m. And then, oh, thank you, Renee. And then later on, I will post it to my Facebook business page and also to YouTube for the replay. So thank you all who are watching and who watch the replay. Hi, everybody. All right, so I like to do a share contest every week. All you have to do is share my video on Facebook or YouTube, and then you can win a prize. So the prize from this week, last week I showed you this exposed brick 3D embossing folder. This is a new one, and I think this is super fun. Hi, Pam. Hi, everybody. This is a super fun one. We're going to use this one tonight. So I'm giving one of these away. So what I do then is go on and see who shared from last week on both my Facebook pages and YouTube. And then I use a little app on my phone to pick a winner. And this week's winner was Renee. So Renee, congratulations. I'm going to put this in the mail for you. Thank you for sharing, and thank you to everybody who shared. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out when people share the video. This week I'm going to give away something fun. So this is the Bright and Beautiful Memories and More card pack, and you can make a lot of really fun cards with this card pack. I have one too, and I haven't opened it yet, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a class just with these because the beautiful balloon set is awesome. And these are all pre-printed. These would make some really easy, fun cards. So anyway, I'm giving one of these away. This will be the prize for next week. So if you would like, share my video and I'll enter you into the drawing. Please make sure you write shared in the comments so they know that you shared, because sometimes if you just share, it doesn't really tell me who it is. Okay. All right. So that's what we'll have for next week. All right. Let me turn my camera down and let's talk about this week's projects. All right. Oh, hold on a second. That's tight. Loosen this up. Okay. I had it not quite lined up properly. Pardon my hand in there getting everything tightened up. All right, how's that? I think that's pretty good. Okay, just a little crooked. Great. All right, so summer. I have a summer set that I think is a summer set this week that we're going to use. And this is the Lazy Days set. And it's going to be a stamp set and also some dies. Here's a couple of the examples that Stampin' Up! Has in the catalog. And this is from the annual catalog that we're into right now. These are the cards we're going to make tonight. We've got It's Always a Good Day When It's Your Birthday, so a really fun birthday card. Then we're going to do a little bit of a sunset in the background, and this one we used It's Always a Good Day When You Take Time for Yourself, so I think that's kind of a fun little card. And then this one is, we're going to use that embossing folder I was just talking about. And this says, Welcome to Our Street. So this would be a nice little housewarming card for somebody, a neighbor that moves in or so. I think these are kind of fun cards. So a little bit of coloring, they're stamping coloring, and we're going to do a lot of die cutting tonight to make these cards. I originally made these for my Sweet Stampin' Friends tutorial. And after I made this card, this was a couple months back, I looked and I was like, oh wait, that's not what we're doing this month. So I had this one sitting around. So I thought, all right, we're going to do a little class with this. So I guess what I'm getting at, as I did this a really long time ago, so hopefully I can figure out how to recreate it. Okay, Lazy Days, here's our stamp set. There's so many different ways you can work these sentiments. Lots of fun things. We've got a little rug, the rocking chair, I don't even know what you call this little trim piece that you can stamp. We're going to stamp one of those, some plants, some birds. Really a fun set, some clouds. I did not use the clouds. And then this die set is amazing. I love this die set. I think there's 14 dies. No, there's 16 dies, so it's a lot of dies in here. With the rocking chairs, railings, this piece that goes across, just lots of fun dies. We're going to use most of the dies in this set tonight. In addition, and this will be the first card that we made, for this banner, I'm also using my favorite, the Stylish Shapes dies, because I love these banners, okay? All right, so let's pull out our pieces. I feel like there's a lot of pieces for this card. All right, so we're going to start with a card base that is Calypso Coral. I've got a couple pieces to do stamping and die cutting on just in the back of the kit right here, some just basic white. But this is our standard card base, so this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let me just take a second too to make sure I'm coming up on Facebook. I'm not see, but you guys can see me. I know you guys are all here because you're saying hello. Let me see what's going on here. I might have waited too long for it to come up because I can't seem to pull it myself up. Okay, well, that's going to be hard for me to see your comments if I can't pull up. Wait, I found it. There I am. I shouldn't have waited so long. Okay, great. Now I can see your comments, so that's great. Oh, thank you guys very much. Okay, this is going to be the inside. This is basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to stamp. Are we going to stamp? No, we're just going to put some die cutting on that. So I'm going to set these aside for right this second. All right, we've got some layers. Okay, so what I did was, let me put this aside. Like I said, I've got, now these, I had like a skinny layer, so these are a little bit off in the measurements, okay? So this white one is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. A little bit of a weird measurement, right? Because I've got more of a skinny border right here. So let's go ahead and put that down. Because there's a lot of things going on this card, I kind of wanted to have skinny borders so we'd have more like picture room, right? All right, so I'm not used to the skinny borders. Let me see if I can line this up right. I think that's pretty good, right? Okay, then this is more than normal. This is 5 1/4 by 4. This is Balmy Blue. Now, the first time I made this card, like I said, I was making it for the tutorial. Let me show you if I have that card handy. Here it is. In the background, I did watercolor paper for this one, and I watercolored a blue background. But the Balmy Blue works just as well. I think it's much easier to do than going through the trouble of doing some coloring for the background for that. So, all right, let me line this up here. Okay, so that's our first layer. Okay, so we have some crumb cake here. And let me turn my card so I can see it. And as you can see, I did a little stamping in crumb cake on the crumb cake, right? To make a little bit of a wood porch look. So this piece, excuse me, of the crumb cake is 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. And I'm just gonna take the stamp, just like this, and we're just gonna put a little bit of wood planking onto our porch. So I'm just gonna kind of randomly stamp some of these on here. And I'm not like really lining them up or anything. I'm just kind of putting them like that. And most of this we're going to cover up with the rug anyway. But that just adds a little bit of a nice floor looking thing. Let me put a little bit here. I should have something underneath so that, so kind of like that. Now, let me make sure I didn't get any ink on my work surface. Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and put our floor down. And we're just kind of doing this in all our different layers. Okay. So I'm going to cover up, and it's going to be edge to edge on the Balmy Blue right here. Just like that, okay? So that's what we have so far. Now, let's do some stamping and die cutting. So I used pecan pie to stamp the rocking chair and the table. So let me pull out, here's the rocking chair. So I'm going to use one for stamping. And where's my table? This table is really cute because we've got the little cups on there. We're going to have a little lemonade. Okay, so we've got that. Then in Memento, I'm going to stamp the little bushel basket plant right here. And then the hanging plant. Can you guys see, am I too low? I want to make sure I'm not too low. Just inking that up. And we're going to put that right there. On the inside of the card, we're going to put a birdhouse. So I'm going to stamp one of the birdhouses. And let me get that right here. Okay, and I believe that's all we have to stamp on the white. Okay, the other thing we're going to stamp is our sentiment. And I've got the top part, It's Always a Good Day, so I'm going to stamp that in Calypso Coral. Let me pull that out. This card takes a minute, right? It's not, there's a lot of moving parts to this. Let me pull this down a little bit just so I can kind of center it. And it's kind of a tight fit, so I want to kind of stamp this towards the top. Now, the other thing you can do is just line up both stamps one right under each other, and they fit pretty good. But I didn't do that. So this one we want to say it's your birthday. So I'm going to pull this other one off for now. And we'll do this one in Memento. So let me just get these off. Okay, and let's just put it right here. Again, the easier thing to do would be to stamp this, you know, put the stamps together, stamp it, and then cut it out. That's the easier thing to do, but that's kind of not what we're doing right this minute. Okay, so we've got that. Next, we're going to stamp our rug. So I have a piece of Calypso Coral, and we're going to stamp Calypso Coral on Calypso Coral. Now, every time I look at this, I think, oh my gosh, it's not the right size because look how skinny this piece of cardstock looks. And then I look at the rug, but it is the right size. It's just that optical illusion. It's a little bit crazy. So let me get out my rug piece and ink that up. Do any of you guys have this set already? I think it's a really fun summer set to have. Okay, there's our rug. That can be die cut. Okay. Also die cut, let me show you some of the dies. So we've got this one, and now the piece that I'm giving in the kit doesn't go all the way across, which is fine because we don't need it to go all the way across because we're going to cut this piece off anyway. So you're going to die cut this out. You're going to die cut the railing out of the white, and I die cut 2 of the railing, okay? So let me start pulling some pieces out. Here's our 2 railings that are die cut. Here is our one piece of the trim and the little pole, so that's done already. We're going to, here's the die for the rug. So you'll just die cut your rug, send that through your machine, and I have one of those ready already. Although I don't think I stamped on it, I just die cut it, so I'm going to have to stamp on it or die cut this one or the other, right? So let me just stamp again, see if I can do it. Otherwise, I'll just die cut the other one. Then I have one piece left, which is old olive cardstock, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. See if I can kind of get this lined up. Okay, good, perfect rug. Okay, so this is the other piece we have left, and this is old olive, and I'm cutting a couple of the ivy leaves. So cutting a couple of those. So I'm doing 3 actually for this card. We're going to do 2 around the pole and 1 on the inside. So die cutting 3 of these out. Okay, so let me put some of these things aside for a minute. Make sure I don't lose my dies. So I've got 1, 2, I need 1 more of those. Okay, now we're gonna do a little bit of coloring. We've almost got all of our pieces together. We got a little bit more to do. So what I did with this, I stamped it in the pecan pie. And so I'm going to color with one of my favorites. I like the bronze and ivy set, so I'm just going to use the ivory to color in, and we have kind of a light colored table and chairs. So this is pretty easy to color in. I'll just kind of do it quickly here just to show you. So I think it looks nice with that combination of colors, the ivory and the pecan pie. Of course, you can make this any color that you want. As you can see, it's pretty easy to color that in. Okay, so that's our table. I'm going to take a little bit of light Daffodil Delight, and we're going to turn this into a little bit of lemonade here for our drinks. Okay, same thing with the chair, colored in the exact same color. There's lots of neutrals. You can use crumb cake, anything that you have will be fine to color in these things. Okay, I'm going kind of fast and maybe not in the lines, so we can kind of get in a hurry. The only tricky part about this is getting the slats in the back of the chair, because they're kind of skinny and you just want to color the slat and not the white part in between, right? So I'm using my brush tip because I feel like that has a finer point. And I'm just going across to get that done like that. Okay, and then this last line going up here. All right, so there's our chair. All right, next, the birdhouse. And I did that in pecan pie. So let me get my light pecan pie out. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit like wood. So I just did the top and bottom in the pecan pie. And this is the light color, just like that. And then I'm going to use the light and dark Calypso Coral. And let me just add a little bit of dark on the side right here. And I'm going to blend that in right away, just so we have a little bit of kind of a shadow on that side, a little bit darker. And that's it. Okay, so now we have our birdhouse. That's all set. The last thing I want to do is our basket. So I used a couple different colors for the basket. I used my dark and my light pecan pie. So I'm going to start with the dark and just kind of do a little bit of the edges on the outside and a little bit going down this way. Again, this way. And then I'm going to come in, I'm actually doing 3 different colors with this. I'll add a little bit of the light to kind of blend some of this in. Going across this way. And then I'm just going to finish it up with the ivory and kind of just get the whole thing blended in. Okay. And that's all we're going to do for our bushel basket. I used the Calypso Coral too for the basket, the hanging basket for our, this looks like, I don't know, maybe more ivy plant, I'm not sure. Add just a little tiny bit of the dark, just as a little bit of an accent. Okay, all we have left is leaves, so that's good. Using Old Olive to kind of coordinate with everything. And my Old Olive tip, my brush tip's a little beat up, so I think I'm just gonna do my other tip. So I'm just doing half the leaves in dark and half of each leaf in light. And I'm kind of doing the side that has some of the dotting in the dark. Not that it matters, you can do anything you want with this. So I'm just going to go through really quickly and do the half parts for the dark. It goes pretty fast. Okay, and then you can just fill it in with the light, and you can just go right over it and blend it a little too, and it just makes it a lot faster to color if you can just go over the whole thing and kind of fill it in. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Whoops, I went out of the lines right there. So if you do that, you can always take your color lifter. Let me pull that out. You can see where I went out of the line right here. And I'm just gonna add a little color lifter right here to get that out, and that's gonna dry, and it should look better. Okay, same thing with our hanging plant, starting with the dark. Again, let me go kind of fast here, not necessarily in the lines, because I don't like to make you guys watch me color because that's not that much fun. But I did kind of want to show you the first time how I like the colors I used. And so you guys hanging in there okay? Hope everybody's having a good week so far. All right, finish up with the light, and then we have our really pretty hanging basket. This was a really cute set. I wonder who came up with this set. There's a lot of really cute sets this year with little pieces, right? Which I think are really fun. Okay, that's it. Okay, now, of course, let me just, I haven't looked at comments at all. Let me just see how everybody's doing here. Okay, got it. Oh, Carol, yes, I see what you're saying. Is try the trick to reverse the rocker, then you have two rockers facing each other. Good idea. That would be fun to do. Okay, so just again, some of the dies, we've got the rocking chair die. There's a die for each of these, so you're just gonna run it through your machine and cut all these pieces out. And so I've got our little planter, I've got our hanging basket, the rocking chair, and the table. And I think we're ready to put it all together. Okay, so all our pieces are here. And wait, did I have my birdhouse? I'm missing my birdhouse. Hold on, here it is. Okay. All right, so the first thing I want to do is put this on the card. And like I said, it's gonna, we're gonna cut it off a little bit. So this one I have right at the very top, I'm gonna put it, and right across. So I want to cut off just a little bit on the end. Okay. Now, before we put that on, I want to wrap my vines around the pole. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of seal to the back side of the pole. Okay. And I'm just going to start wrapping them around. So I'm going to start here and go behind and kind of bring like this part in front. You can see how you can kind of wrap it around a little bit. And I want to bring this whole rest of this part in front. So let me see if I can make that happen. This is a little tricky. It takes a second to get it the exact way that you want it. And it's very sticky on the back of it. So, okay, I think that's pretty much how I want the first piece, right? And what I really need to do is add just a dot of glue to the front part of it. So let me get my glue started here. Okay. And let me just kind of glue that to the front of the pole with just a couple of dots right there. Okay. I'm using my silicone mat for this too, so it's not sticking too much. Let me just put this down for a second. All right, I'm going to take another one then and start it almost in the same place. And you may have to cut a little bit of it off. These are all twined up. So I'm going to add just a couple more dots of glue right here because I want to start this one right up about here. And then I'm just going to take it and wrap this one behind now. And bring this part around the front. So a little tricky, but you'll get it just the way you want it to be. And let me see if I can unglue my fingers from it, then we'll be in good shape. Okay, Let me just let it dry on the front for a second. And that's pretty good. I think that's just the way that I want it. Okay, so now to glue the rest of this on, I'm going to use, well, you know, my favorite two-way glue pen, which I haven't used in a little while, just because it's so intricate. So let me pull this up. I just want to get, now I could use the glue and just dot it along, but it's so much faster just to use this and go along the edges. And then, of course, this is just going to peel off my silicone mat when it dries, all this glue mess that I've made. Okay, let me put that aside. And then we'll put this piece down. Now, I should have enough sticky left on the little pole that it should stick to the card. Okay, it's going a little bit over the edge, but I feel like I'm okay with that. I probably should have just cut this off just a little bit more, but it's okay. I'm fine with that. And this looks good. Got a little glue that I'm trying to pull off of there. Okay, I think that looks good. We'll let that dry for a minute. Okay, next layer, again, we want to add our railings now, next. And I will just do some dotting of my glue to do the railings. So let me just do that quickly. And I'm using 2 railings on this one, side by side. And then I'm just gonna leave a little bit of an opening near the pole. So let me work my way this way in case I need to cut anything. And I'm leaving just a little bit of a border behind the porch like that too. Okay, because I want to leave enough room for my sentiment too. Okay, let me dot up the other one. This glue holds really well too, which is great. You want it to hold well when you stuff it in an envelope, right? Okay. Right next to each other. And it looks like I am going to have to trim off a little bit on the edge. I guess I could have put it over a little bit more too, right? But I did not, so I'm just gonna, I probably can just leave that little bit hanging over. It should be fine. Let me get this back to where it belongs. It takes a minute for that glue to dry. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. All right, let us put down our outdoor rug with our Calypso Coral. I like this combination of colors too. So there's our rug put down. All right, now we're gonna pop some things up. Let's start with our chair. Let me get my dimensionals out. And we'll just put a couple dimensionals on the chair. And I think we want it right about here. Let's put our table next. Hopefully nothing's showing through, or we could have used some mini dimensionals on this. Oh, I don't like that, that's showing. No, we don't want to see that. Let me cut this one in half. All right, that'll be better. Or you could just use minis. All right, here's our table. And I think we want that placed right about here. Now, let's pop up the rest. Our planter. Do you guys have any 4th of July plans coming up? I like to go to Chicago for the 4th, but we're not going this year since we just took a vacation recently. So we'll be home in San Antonio for the 4th of July. So I'm not quite sure what we're doing yet, but does anybody have a 4-day weekend? That's really nice, right? If you have that. Kind of weird when the 4th of July is in the middle of the week, right? All right, this can go right here. And then our little plant. I like to go to back to Chicago, to Palos Heights specifically, because they always have such a good 4th of July. They have a parade, and we go to 2 fireworks, usually one on the 3rd, one on the 4th. Lots of fun, so I'm going to miss that this year. Okay, so on the inside, we're going to put that piece of white that we set aside before for the inside of our card base. And center that up. And then I'm going to bring back my mat and my little glue pen just to do these little leaves. And we're going to put these kind of across like this. And then we're going to hang our little bird. And I'll just use a little bit of glue for that. Just our little birdhouse on the inside. And I think that's really sweet. And then you can write whatever you want in the card, or if you wanted to stamp another sentiment inside the card, you could do that. All right, you guys, that is our first card. Took a little bit of work, but we got there, right? Okay, let's go on to the second card. I'm gonna put these aside. Hold on one second. And we'll get started on the next one. Okay, so the next one we're gonna play with our blending brushes. Hi, Lois. Okay, so we're gonna do this one next. And what we've added also for this one is I just, on this little porch part, instead of stamping, this time I just used that timber embossing folder to emboss the crumb cake. So we're gonna add that when we do this card right here. So let's get out the pieces for this. Now, if you would like to make and take to these cards this week, all you have to do is place an order of $35 or more at my website by Saturday, and then you'll get the make and takes for free. This is the host code for this week, okay? If your order is under 150, if it's over 150, don't use the host code because you'll earn Stampin' rewards, and I'll still send you the card kits. If you don't want to place an order, you can just purchase the make and takes for $20, okay? But you need the Stampin' die set, but all the other shapes and stuff I will die cut for you. For example, the banner, I already die cut that for you. And then I also do the embossing for you. So I've done the embossing already on this piece. Okay, so this one, not as many pieces, right? So we're gonna start, this one piece is for our stamping, okay, and die cutting. We're gonna start this time with the card base that's thick basic white, 8.5 by 4 1/4, and we're scoring this at 5.5, so our card's gonna open this way. All right, so our first layer is gonna be white, and this is the layer that we're gonna just do some blending on. So let's do that. I'm just gonna get out a little piece of scratch paper, and we'll just start blending this. I'm gonna start with Daffodil Delight at the bottom, and get out my blending brushes. Let me clean up a couple things here. Hey, have you guys seen this holder that they came out with this year to hold your blending brushes? This is really awesome. I love that a lot. All right, so I'm just gonna ink up my blending brush and kind of dab it off a little. Then I'm just gonna start, and really the card's gonna start right about here, right? It's not gonna start all the way at the bottom. And I'm just gonna add a bunch of color and kind of blend it in. And you can see I got a couple blobs there. I guess my ink pad's probably pretty juicy. Okay, next color I'm gonna use is Melon Mambo. So we're gonna kind of fade from yellow to pink to purple. Ooh, that one's dark too. All right, we've got some darkness coming in here, but I think it'll be pretty. So I'm gonna kind of blend it this way up towards the top. All right, just like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna come back with a little bit of the yellow though, and just see if I can blend and just make a little bit of orangish here. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect because remember, a lot of it's gonna be covered up too. All right, and lastly, I'm gonna do the top part with Fresh Freesia. Let me get that one out. Can you guys see? Let me see, am I too low? I think I'm okay. All right, You get another blending brush here for my purple. This one's not as juicy, which is good. All right, and we'll just kind of blend out the top with some purple. Get a little bit more color on there. And I think those are pretty colors from the background. And I think that's good enough. I think we're done with that. Okay. Hopefully I am not now covered in ink. Let me check. I think I'm okay. Okay, so now we have our background. We can go ahead and mount that onto our card. And then we'll start building off of that. All right, just like that. Again, so I have this piece of crumb cake, and my piece of crumb cake, let's see, how big is that? Hold on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong piece. I'm like, where is it? I was looking at the wrong one. So this is, where is it? I can't find it on the other one either. Well, let's just measure it. All right, so it's 4 inches by 1.5 inches. And like I said, I put it through the timber embossing folder. I think I want this side to show, so let me put my adhesive here. And that's gonna be the bottom, our porch here. My colors are a little bit darker than in my original card, right? Okay. So I have a piece of this DSP. Now, have you guys seen this? This DSP is a huge pack. I got it because the paper's on sale right now. So it's the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper. Lots of fun, crazy patterns in here, all kinds of things. Let me just kind of show you guys quickly what's in here. Look how big of a pack of paper this is. It's really big. Barely fits in my little container thing to hold it. So all kinds of fun designs. And I was just looking for something different to kind of be the rug and something to kind of match the colors that we were using. So I came up with that. Die cut it just like the other rug. And the piece that I give you, it's just a little bit short of the die cut, but that's because we're cutting it off anyway. So we're going to put it about here. And then I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the end. So let me just cut that off right now, and we can go ahead and set that piece on. I've seen this particular pattern used in a lot of different projects by people. All right, so we'll put this up to the edge right here. I'm going to move it down just a little bit, and that's going to be our rug. Okay, so we're going to kind of do, you can see we're kind of doing some of the same things that we did before. This time I went a little bit darker. So this time I stamped the chair and the table in Memento Black, and I colored it in with light pecan pie. So you can see how it's a little bit different than the other one, a little bit different color. I wanted to try that combination. So it's a little bit darker. I used Bubble Bath to do the pink lemonade right there. And then for the birdhouse, I used Daffodil Delight, and then the same color with the light pecan pie for the birdhouse. So let me stamp the sentiment because I did not do that ahead of time. Hold on, where did it go? Here it is. So this time we're putting It's Always a Good Day. And when you take time for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to try stamping. Oh, no, I don't want to stamp them together because they're different colors, so never mind. Let me just clean this really quick, though, since we already used it. And we'll do this in Fresh Freesia to kind of match our sky. All right, It's Always a Good Day. And this time, when you take time for yourself. All right, can I get it? Whoa, Did you see what I did? I almost did the wrong one. No, 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 no. That will never do. Critical error. Let's try that again. Make sure it's straight. All right. Got it together now. Let's try it. Okay. So we have our sentiment. Again, taking the piece of old olive and cutting out, no, actually we didn't do any vines this time. And I know I die cut the banner out. I'm not seeing it. Hold on, let me look at another one and see if I die cut the banners. Otherwise, I meant to die cut the banner. It looks like I didn't die cut the banner. So we're gonna have to do that. So let's stamp welcome to our street and then we'll die cut it. Hold on a second. So this one, I've got the welcome and then to our street. I'm gonna line these up together and they're both, I'm doing them both in black so I can stamp them at the same time. See if that looks pretty straight. I think so. Let me move this part just up just a little bit. Okay. Whoa, that looks terrible. Let's try that again. I think I pressed too hard. Okay, now I got to find the die for this. Hold on. And it's kind of this fatter one right here. So we're gonna just take that and line it up and run it through our machine. Let me see if I have a machine close by and handy. And I kind of want to have it a little bit this way because I'm going to cut off the right side. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me get my mini Boho Blue machine. If you're getting the kit, I will go back and make sure those are die cut for you already. Even though I know you're going to have the stamp and die set if you're getting the kit. Okay. It looks like somewhere I've got some ink on my fingers too, so gotta get that in check really quick. Okay, so let's just cut this off a little bit right here. Okie dokie. All right. You know what, you guys? I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. It is in the... I skipped ahead. Usually I keep the card right here while I'm working, and I moved this one, so I started looking at the other one. So I have lost my mind. I apologize for losing my mind. But I'm back. This is for more of the vines. You have to cut out 2 more of the vines for this one. And then in addition, when you stamp these things, also stamp out the 2 birds. All I did with those was I added just a little bit of the light pecan pie and then the ivory again, how I like to color with the ivory. And then I die cut those. Okay, so let's get our pieces out because I've already done it so you guys don't have to watch me do it again. So here's our darker table with the pink lemonade, our darker chair. I've got 2 of the vines that are cut out. I have got 1 of the railings. I'm going to put this card where it belongs now so I don't get confused again. And I've got 1 of these. All right. I need my 2 birds. 1, my yellow birdhouse. And now I'm just missing another bird. And I think we are all set. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, let us put this on first. Now this time I didn't intertwine anything. I just put the vines on top of this. So let me cut it first and see how far we want to have it. It's going to go right about here. And so I'm going to cut it right about here. Okay. Sorry that I lost my mind like that for a minute. I can't believe I did that. That was crazy. I'm like, I was wondering why I didn't have that piece die cut already. I was like, gosh, I'm usually so careful. But I did, I believe, die cut it. It's just in the next set of cards. Okay, so let's put this on our background right here. I want this to start maybe right about here. And go up, see if I can get my pole to be straight. And then have this come across, and I want room for my banner on top. And I think that looks pretty good. And we'll let that dry for a minute. Does it look straight on top? Just about. Just a tiny bit more like this. Okay. That needs to dry for a minute. I'm going to trim just a little bit more. Okay, great. Now we can start putting more pieces on. Let's do our railing. I like this railing. Don't you think this railing's really pretty? All right, and this one I'm just putting all the way to the side over here. Right about there with just a little bit, again, of the this crumb cake showing through. Okay, let's get some dimensionals out. I'm gonna start by putting the bird cage, or bird house. Why do I want to say bird cage? Bird house right here. All right, our chair and table we can put on next. I wonder why they didn't do 2 chairs facing each other with the stamp set, right? That would have been cool. Because, yeah, most of the time you don't want to sit out there by yourself, right? You want to have somebody with you. Let me get out some minis this time. But maybe they know that we're creative enough to figure it out, right? Okay, so this about right here. This about right here. We're just gonna glue our little birds and our little pieces here. I wonder, did I lose a bird, you guys? I hope I didn't lose a bird. Oh no, I think I lost a bird. This card, oh no, wait, there he is. He's stuck on the bottom of my mat. I'm trying to find a place that doesn't have glue on it already. Just to kind of get some glue here. And I just kind of did these kind of facing away from each other. So one right here. And then the other one right next to it. All right, let me glue down the birds before they get lost. You could pop those up too if you wanted to. But I think the little birds are fun. And this one wants to sit on the railing. Okay, let's add just a little bit of linen thread. And let me pull off a piece. I've kind of messed up my linen thread, you guys. I don't know what I did. I couldn't find the starting point. And yeah, so my linen thread's a little messed up. I do that. I usually do that with yarn too. If I ever do yarn, I can never find the beginning. I don't know what the trick is to that. I'm sure it's just me. Okay, I'm gonna make this bow pretty small because our birdhouse isn't very big. So I kind of want a really small little bow. And then we'll just use a glue dot to put that on. But even the glue dot's a little bit big, so I'm gonna kind of use my scissors to kind of roll it and make it a little bit smaller. And put it right here on the birdhouse. And I'm gonna roll it over itself again because I don't want too much of the glue dot showing. And then just put the cute little bow right there. on top. Okay, you guys, we made it through this card, even though I tried halfway through to switch it up to another card. All right, what do you think? One's a little bit darker than the other. One's a little bit more intense. Okay, second card finished. You can see these cards take a little bit of time, which is why I only did 3 projects this week, instead of 4. All right, let's do this card for real this time. Oh, so silly. Let me put some things away. All right, so what I've added to this card is, again, one of my favorites, the Scalloped Contours dies. And we're going to use this one right here just to cut out a layer of basic white. And then we're going to use that embossing folder that I was talking about. And this is just so pretty. I love this embossing folder. All right, look, I cut it out. Oh, silly, silly, silly. Okay, again, a piece comes with for the stamping and die cutting. We're gonna start with Old Olive cardstock, and this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're gonna open this one this way. We're gonna do this exposed brick 3D embossing folder on this piece of 5 1/4 by 4. If you get the kit, I'm going to have this already embossed for you. So that is going to be our first layer here. So let's put that down. I was kind of sad when the other brick embossing folder retired, but I like this one just as much. Okay, so we've got that ready. Okay, now on this side, we're using the Scalloped Contours with the white, and then I've got another layer right here that we're gonna stamp and do, again, a little bit of blending on, okay? So that's gonna go right on the inside of this. All right, so let's get that started. We'll bring this back, and this time I'm just using the Balmy Blue, just kind of in a circle in the middle, and then a little bit of the Old Olive, kind of grassy looking is kind of what I was thinking of when I did that. So let me get out the Balmy Blue, and we'll just do a little bit of background. And like I said, I'm just going to start kind of in a circle and just kind of want to have a little bit of a circle background. That's it. Pretty light, not too dark. And I think that's pretty good. That's all I'm going to do with that. Okay, and then the Old Olive, let me get a new blending brush for that. And I'm just going to go straight across the bottom. Again, not too dark. And just do maybe one more layer just to get it a little bit darker. Let me make sure you can see me. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's all we're going to do with that. All right, so now we have that piece. We're going to stamp our little, almost, I don't know if you call it a pergola or just a little bit of trim across the top, and we're going to do that in pecan pie. And I kind of like to use all the different stamps when I'm doing a class, right? Because I like to use everything and try everything out. So I'm going to stamp this right across the top, and it's going to be a little bit off of the edges on the sides. Just like that. Okay, so that's kind of our background. So I'm just going to attach that now to my white scalloped layer. And we'll kind of build on that. See if I can get this centered so the dots are still showing. All right, just like that. Going back, doing the same thing we did before, so die cutting a railing. I went back to the original this time with the rocking chair, and I did the pecan pie, and I colored it with ivory. No table this time, just I did a planter again, just like last time. another hanging plant. This time, instead of using the Calypso Coral, because I kind of wanted to stick more neutral, I used Copper Clay blend for that. And I just did the light and then kind of did a couple layers on the right side to add a little bit of darkness. But I just used the light Copper Clay for that. And then, of course, the banner, which we have already stamped on and cut, so we're good to go on that. All right, so this one's going a lot faster than the others, right? So let's add our railing in the background. This card just really reminds me of summer. I don't have a front porch. We have a back porch, which is nice to sit on, but I don't have a front porch with a rocking chair. I think that would be really awesome. Okay, now you can make this go all the way across if you want, or you can cut it off. I think this time I'm going to kind of make it go across this way, which is fine. You can see in the original card, I kind of cut it halfway. I don't think it really matters. Okay, and we'll pop our things up again. So I had a little accident too with my rocking chair. You know, like I had made the cards and then I was doing the cutting for the classes and prepping for the prep. I was doing the cutting for the prep and I could not find the die for this anywhere. I was looking all over. I'm like, I can't believe I lost the die. Where could it be? I don't usually lose dies. So I was like, fine, I'm just going to start cutting. So I sent it through the die cutting machine. And then I started pulling off everything I die cut. Well, it was underneath. So it was all bent up from having another die on top of it. But I was able to bend it back. And once I sent it through a couple more times by itself, it kind of flattened out and it was saved. But I thought, I don't know. All right, our plant right here. Let's do our hanging one up here. I didn't pop this one up and I think I'm still not going to pop it up. So let me add a little bit of glue and just glue it right on because I didn't want it sticking out too much further than the little thing that we stamped on, since that's what it's hanging off of. So, and it's okay if it overhangs on the railing. I think that's just fine. So I'm going to put it right about here. Okay. And whoops, get back up there. Back where you're supposed to be. Okay, and then just a little bit of seal on the half banner that we have. And I'm actually going to wait to put this on for a minute because I want to line it up with the side. So let us just pop this whole thing up right here. And that helps, I think it's the dimensional stick really well to an embossed background too. It really holds it well. All right, here we go, right in the middle. And then we can kind of put this to line up with the green edge on the other side right about there. And I think that'd be a really fun card for a new neighbor. Maybe when our new neighbor, nobody's bought the house next door yet, so this would be a nice card to bring over there when somebody buys the house next door. Okay, let's add again a little bit of a linen thread bow, a small one. It's kind of funny because all I used was a little bit of linen thread. I didn't use any ribbon. I didn't use any gems this week. Pretty unusual, right? Not to use gems, but I kind of felt like there were so many pieces on these cards, you kind of didn't need it. It's kind of busy by itself. Okay, let's get a glue dot again and kind of fold it up into a little ball, a little glue dot ball, and put our bow on here. And I think that's it, you guys. That's our last card. All right, let me bring back and show you which one is your favorite. Does anybody have a favorite? I'm not sure. I started out by really liking this one. That was the first card that I did. And then I wanted to play with a sunset, so I did this card. And then I found this one with the backgrounds, and I almost feel like this is my favorite one. All right, you guys, that's our cards for this week. Let me show you a couple other things before we get going. This is the last week for the Sweet Stampin' Friends tutorial for June, right? That ends the 30th. So if you would like to get this, I send this per email free with a $35 order. So lots of fun designs on here, lots of different cards that you can make with this tutorial. Lots of fun. This is the card that I made for that. If you want the project measurement and supply sheet, just drop me an email and I will be happy to email that to you. If you join my email list, and there's links to that on my Facebook business page and my YouTube channel, then you'll get this every week as part of the email list, and you'll automatically have it. You don't have to email me or anything. Remember, Designer Series paper sale goes till the 30th of June. 15% off, great price, lots of fun papers that you can get, stock up on, get everything you need while it's on sale. So that's still happening until the 30th. Starter kit, if you want to join my team, buy the starter kit, become a demo, just become a hobby demonstrator. If you want to just get the discount, it's great because you get $155 worth of products for $99, and then after that you get a 20% discount. So you can email me if you need more information for that. I'll give you the complete scoop on that. Online exclusives, don't forget about that. Now on July 6th, we're going to have all these online exclusives available to everybody. And there's going to be more than just these right here. So I'm kind of excited to see what's coming for that. And then Paper Pumpkin ends on the 10th of July. If you want to, this looks like a fun beachy kit, right? So think about that. Next week is 4th of July, so that's a Tuesday. So I'm not going to be on the Tuesday. I might go live on Wednesday instead. All right, I'm not sure what the kit's going to be. But you guys have a safe and happy holiday. I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of the week and a great holiday weekend. And I will probably see you next Wednesday. So thank you all for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.